Tiberius, a general of proven skill and a man of considerable intellect, ascends to the throne amidst the lingering shadow of Augustus. The weight of expectation and the legacy of his predecessor bear heavily upon him. Initially, he attempts to share power with the Senate, a gesture met with suspicion and veiled contempt. His offers of collaboration are seen as weakness, his genuine attempts at reform as veiled threats to their established power. Whispers of his supposed reluctance to rule, fueled by his predecessor's manipulations, begin to erode public trust. The populace, accustomed to the charisma of Augustus, finds Tiberius cold and aloof. His attempts at fiscal responsibility and curbing extravagance are interpreted as miserly and uncaring. Public games are scaled back, and lavish displays of wealth are curtailed, leading to discontent among the masses. The seeds of mistrust are sown, nurtured by ambitious senators and a populace yearning for the spectacle and largesse of the past. Rumors and accusations spread like wildfire, poisoning the well of public opinion. Every decision, every action, is scrutinized and twisted to fit a narrative of tyranny and oppression. Tiberius, a man of duty, finds himself increasingly isolated by the very people he seeks to serve, setting the stage for his eventual withdrawal from Rome. He observes the machinations of the Senate, the fickle nature of the crowd, and the relentless pursuit of power by those around him. His advisors, sensing his growing disillusionment, begin to jockey for position, further fueling his sense of isolation. The weight of the empire presses down on him, a burden made heavier by the constant barrage of criticism and distrust. He longs for the simplicity of his military days, the clarity of command, and the loyalty of his soldiers. But those days are gone, replaced by the treacherous currents of Roman politics. His attempts to govern justly are met with resistance at every turn, and his efforts to protect the Republic are seen as signs of weakness. The more he tries to connect with the people, the more they seem to pull away. The Senate, sensing his vulnerability, begins to assert its authority, challenging his decisions and undermining his power. He finds himself caught in a web of intrigue and deceit, with no clear path forward. The constant pressure begins to take its toll, eroding his spirit and clouding his judgment. Sleep offers little respite, as nightmares of betrayal and conspiracy haunt his dreams. He becomes increasingly withdrawn, seeking solace in his own thoughts and avoiding public appearances. His isolation deepens, and the seeds of paranoia begin to sprout in his mind. He starts to see enemies everywhere, questioning the motives of even his closest allies. The weight of the crown becomes unbearable, a symbol of the burden he can no longer carry. He yearns for escape, for a place where he can find peace and solitude. The once capable general and respected statesman is slowly being consumed by the darkness that surrounds him. The Roman Empire watches as their new leader retreats into himself, unable to bridge the gap between ruler and ruled. The stage is set for a reign marked by suspicion, fear, and ultimately, exile. His legacy hangs in the balance, a testament to the corrosive power of mistrust and the isolating effects of power. The people grow restless, their murmurs of discontent growing louder with each passing day. The Senate plots and schemes, eager to seize any opportunity to expand their own influence. Tiberius, trapped in his gilded cage, sees the storm gathering on the horizon. He knows that his time in Rome is limited, and that a reckoning is coming. The question is not if, but when the dam will break, and what will be left in its wake. The isolation that Tiberius felt only deepened with each passing year. The constant suspicion and political games took their toll. He sought refuge in Capri, a haven far removed from Rome's treacherous heart. Here, he hoped to find solace from the viper's nest of Roman politics. But even in paradise, the tendrils of intrigue reached him. Sejanus, his ambitious Praetorian prefect, became the spider in Tiberius's web. In Rome, Sejanus manipulated events with ruthless efficiency. He consolidated power, eliminating anyone he deemed an enemy, real or imagined. All the while, he fed Tiberius a steady diet of paranoia and misinformation. Letters arrived daily, filled with tales of plots and conspiracies. Each word was carefully crafted to stoke Tiberius's deepest fears. Isolated on his island, Tiberius had no way to verify these claims. He grew increasingly fearful, his judgment clouded by doubt and suspicion. The Senate, once treated with respect, now seemed a den of vipers. His old friends, now potential traitors. Driven by fear, Tiberius grew more autocratic. His decisions, once measured and considered, became impulsive and harsh. He trusted no one, relying solely on Sejanus's twisted counsel. Executions became commonplace, silencing any dissent. Informants were rewarded handsomely, encouraging them to fabricate more tales. The Praetorian Guard, under Sejanus's command, became a tool of oppression. Fear gripped Rome, stifling the vibrant life that once characterized the city. The people whispered in fear, their eyes darting nervously. The name of Tiberius, once spoken with respect, was now uttered in hushed tones of dread. The capable ruler, the brilliant general, was lost, burdened by the machinations of a manipulative prefect and his own growing paranoia. Tiberius descended into a state of near tyranny. His legacy, once promising, was now forever tainted by fear and mistrust. He became one of Rome's most enigmatic and misunderstood emperors, a shadow of his former self, haunted by the ghosts of his past and the demons of his present. The weight of power, once a source of pride, now crushed him. He was a prisoner of his own making, trapped in a web of deceit and paranoia. The island of Capri, meant to be a sanctuary, became his gilded cage, and Rome, the city he had sworn to protect, suffered under the weight of his fear. The whispers grew louder, the discontent more palpable. The seeds of rebellion were sown, waiting for the opportune moment to bloom. Tiberius, oblivious to the storm brewing on the horizon, remained isolated in his island fortress. He was a man consumed by darkness, his reign a testament to the corrupting influence of power. His story served as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the fragility of leadership and the enduring power of fear. The sun beat down on Capri, the waves crashed against the shore. But within the walls of Tiberius's villa, darkness reigned supreme. The shadow of power had consumed him, leaving behind only a shell of the man he once was. And Rome, the eternal city, braced itself for the storm to come. His mind, once sharp and calculating, became a breeding ground for suspicion. Every smile seemed a mask, every gesture a potential betrayal. He saw enemies where there were none, threats lurking in every shadow. The constant barrage of fabricated plots eroded his sanity. Sejanus, with his honeyed words and subtle manipulations, tightened his grip. He played on Tiberius's insecurities, fueling his paranoia with carefully crafted lies. The emperor, desperate for reassurance, clung to Sejanus as his only confidant. Little did he know, Sejanus was the architect of his downfall. The executions became more frequent, the accusations more outlandish. Senators, once powerful and influential, were now dragged through the streets, their wealth confiscated, their families exiled, their names erased from history. Fear permeated every level of Roman society. No one was safe from Sejanus's reach. No one dared to speak out against the emperor. The vibrant marketplace, once filled with laughter and lively chatter, fell silent. The theaters stood empty, the games abandoned. Rome, once the center of the world, was now a city of shadows. The weight of his decisions pressed down on him, a crushing burden. Sleep offered no escape, only nightmares filled with betrayal and bloodshed. He paced the halls of his villa, a restless ghost haunting his own life. The beauty of Capri, the azure sea, the fragrant gardens, offered no solace. He was a prisoner in paradise, trapped by his own fears and suspicions. The people of Rome, once loyal and devoted, now cursed his name in secret. They yearned for the days of Augustus, for peace and prosperity. But Tiberius, blinded by paranoia, remained deaf to their pleas. The storm clouds gathered on the horizon, a harbinger of the chaos to come. The empire teetered on the brink of collapse, its foundations weakened by fear and mistrust. Tiberius, lost in his own private hell, failed to see the danger. He was a man consumed by darkness, his reign a tragedy of wasted potential. The whispers of rebellion grew louder, fueled by desperation and despair. The seeds of discontent, sown by Sejanus's tyranny, began to sprout. Rome held its breath, waiting for the inevitable explosion. Tiberius, isolated and alone, was oblivious to the impending doom. He was a puppet dancing to Sejanus's tune, a king without a kingdom. His legacy, once destined for greatness, was now tarnished beyond repair. He would be remembered not as a savior, but as a tyrant. And the name of Tiberius would forever be synonymous with fear and mistrust. The end was near. But Tiberius, lost in his paranoia, could not see it coming. He was a man trapped in a nightmare, with no hope of escape. And Rome, the eternal city, braced itself for the final act of this tragic drama. The stage was set for a bloody and inevitable confrontation.